Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only.
What's up, everybody?
Hey guys.
What's up?
Good morning. How are you folks?
Dude, it's a high carb day. Couldn't be better.
Good man, Gonzo.
Yes,
I
sir.
barely ate yesterday.
I think Paul's chopping in and out a little bit.
There we go.
You barely ate yesterday?
Oh man.
Paul, you're muted.
My stupid
Oh, there.
my stupid thing was trying to connect to my phone. I don't know why it was doing that.
All right.
Works good now.
Yeah, I barely ate yesterday. It was a long day. The amateurs started at 9, the pros went on at noon, and then it's pretty much like a 10-12 hour day. You know, when they have these pro-am shows, it's a long day. I swear they worked the guys through the posing way more than they did at the Arnold. It was they definitely
worked
put the
those
guys through
yesterday.
it. Yeah, they put them through it.
I'd say the stream was pretty solid too, by the way. Whatever Fuad did, it was great. Like I was able to see the whole.
The Gilco guys ran it, which is what the Olympia should do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was phenomenal. It was you could see it. You could enjoy the show, you know, moment by moment, real time. It was great.
Yeah,
man, what a fun show. I'm glad I came up for it. I was kind of like, man, Fuad, Paul, and Ben Chow, they put on the show, and it was just super well produced, a lot of fun. They did a lot of cool things, giveaways, and they had the People's Champ where they did the open versus classic at the end.
King of Detroit. That was really cool. That was very cool. Yeah. Audience participation.
It was hilarious. Mo Fuda, he was like, "Really? I got to come back out for this? I just want to go eat some food."
So have we reached the kingdom of Wesley? Is this the dynasty of Wesley coming? Like House Targaryen?
We'll see. And he looked unbeatable, man. Like I think he would have probably won the Open if he was in the Open yesterday. I mean, he just was a notch above everybody else in that show.
Yeah,
he's just what you would consider a professional. He is a professional. His presentation's polished. He's confident. He's in shape. Calm.
He should have a statue of that physique right there.
Yeah. Take a picture now and do it, and make the statue right now.
The new Arnold statue.
For people that are
next to him, there should be all kinds of guys next to Arnold. Arnold's great, but celebrate everybody.
Mount Rushmore. Make it a Mount Rushmore of bodybuilders.
Well, they have like a Hall of Fame line, sort of, inside of the Arnold. But I mean, let's get statues out there.
And
that would be cool.
We need a girl statue on there too.
Yeah.
For the bros we coach that get frustrated with a 5 or a 6 pound gain in muscle in a year, Wesley's difference in stage weight from this Arnold to the last one was about 5 pounds, 6 pounds.
Really?
Yeah. Is he
But
really
the look
underweight?
is completely different. It's completely different.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that's what 5 pounds of stage weight will do.
He's underweight.
Oh, he looks so good. I can't remember who it was. I was listening to somebody talking about his physique when he started, and they called his legs hot dog legs, that they looked exactly like hot dogs. And I'm like, if anybody has, like, to show the picture you showed, Paul, of his 8-year progression from when he started, I mean, my goodness, has he brought up his legs, and just the shape is just beautiful.
I mean, it's a tall guy, man. It's just hard. Legs are really hard when you're one of these 5'6" fire hydrants, Tom Platt's build, man. It's like, you can squat and get big legs, but when you're a big guy like us, man, squats are just difficult. They don't work well.
It's a lot longer to go.
Yeah, they're more of a back exercise when you got long femurs, and you just have more real estate to fill out. It's tough, but man, once you do get it locked in, it's impressive seeing a big dude filled out on stage.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
You know,
sure.
it's one cool thing I really like about Wesley is it's really his presentation is just really eye grabbing
Flawless.
too. Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's kind of like we've talked about kind of like Andrew, going back to the Arnold, when he just comes out, there's something about that structure. There's something about his improved presentation. There's something eye grabbing about some of these guys. It might not be a physical feature that's specific. It's just their demeanor and how they carry themselves. And you see what kind of a difference that makes with a Wesley that comes down, commands the stage, grabs the eye. He becomes a fan favorite, and he just instantly puts himself in the front with that kind of presence. You know what I mean?
You can look at the polish he's put on his presentation over the years. When he was first started in, I mean, he didn't do a good, his legs still aren't the biggest out there, but he just does such a good job of presenting them. He hides all his weaknesses. He accentuates his strengths. I like, there's not one thing I could critique on his posing. Like, his posing is flawless. It's not complicated. He doesn't go out and do any majorly complicated routine or anything. It's all basic stuff for the most part, but he just executes flawlessly, and he's so confident and calm while he does it.
He flows really, really well. Like, he makes it entertaining to watch, which I think a lot of people get very technical in the presentation, and then it doesn't flow quite as well. And he makes it fun to watch with the music and everything.
Terminator theme song is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it works beautifully. And then he does the robotic kind of move, and and then flows into the is it Disturbed? I guess that what he goes into afterwards.
Yeah.
Right, and then he goes all out, and you can see the smile. The charisma is another huge factor. He is a charismatic guy.
I know, and I was a performing arts major when I initially went to college. They call it stage presence, but that stage presence comes from practice, constant practice. I mean, he is just, that's the thing that I cannot emphasize enough to young bodybuilders. If you want to look good, it's not just about being big. It's about presentation. I mean, it is a performing art, really. You have to have the physique and the ability to present that physique. I mean, look what held back Andrew Jack for years. I mean, that guy just did not present his physique in the most optimal. There's still some things I would critique about how he presents his physique, but he's definitely much improved.
Yeah, Andrew could still make some major improvements, though.
He won Best Poser, right? Did he win Best Poser?
That's a posing routine. His presentation, I still don't like, maybe it's the way he's coached. I don't know. I don't like the way he presents his front lat spread. I really think it's not flattering. It's not a critique to him. I mean, he's an amazing bodybuilder, but I think he could improve that and make himself look even more impressive.
All right. So he's got the muscle everywhere, and he just needs to present it perfectly, and then he's just gonna lock it.
Yeah. Well, look, if the guys happen to listen, I mean, he's an amazing bodybuilder. I don't mean this in I'm not casting stones, but I just think he could be that much better. I would
Martin type, so we're probably okay.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I tell you, the guy that really blew me away at the show, really impressed me outside of Wesley, was McCall. Oh my God, man, that dude was. I mean, first pro show. He won. I remember seeing him at North Americans. Was it 2 years ago? He won North Americans, and the improvements that I know he works out with my friend Brandon Barrow, but I mean, I don't know, man. I thought he looked better than. I thought he. You call me crazy, but I thought he should have been in second place.
Mm-hmm. So can we talk about Mo and the fact, again, remember, I'm looking at it from a new to the sport kind of lens. His change from the Arnold to here
much
was
better.
Phenomenal. Like in 1 week, it was like a whole other guy. I don't know. What do you guys? Tell me more.
He got up on stage and he talked about it afterwards. And he said he just missed his peak at the Arnold. He goofed his peak up. He gave a really good, heartfelt speech afterwards. It was he was kind of giving the audience a lecture that probably some people needed to hear, but it's just about how fans and people on social media are too hard on some of these guys, and like he's like, we're human beings.
Yeah,
And,
that was a great speech. That's right. I did see that.
He's like, I have a kid, I have a wife, I have feelings.
He humanized it. He brought it into the
Yeah.
realm from like these gods of Olympus, no pun intended, to like reality, like real humans. We're people who love the sport and are doing something, and and we're human, and with all our failings and good things, it was good.
Yeah, it was a really good speech, and I think he was basically telling people to cut Martin a break. I get it. Martin didn't come out and apologize, and that's a start.
Mhm.
And I do think it's interesting, man, having some social media acclaim. Not saying I'm on the level that these guys are, but when you're doing things, the criticism and the amount of negativity that came out when I was on contest prep was just fucking unreal, man. Like when I'm not doing anything, when I'm just rolling around fat Paul, nobody gives a fuck, right? It's when you're getting in great shape and making progress and doing things that people just come out of the woodwork, man. I'm pretty resilient. I ignore it for the most part, but there are times that it does get to you, and I think people do forget that these guys up on the stage are human beings. I mean, I can't imagine the level of heat that some of these guys, when you have millions of followers, I'm sure some of these guys, the DMs are just getting blown up. Now, some of these dudes make it easy, definitely, Martin's loss of self-control and emotion, which is basically what it was. It's not like the dude committed a fucking crime or something. He got a little emotional. He lost control of his emotions. It happens.
Yeah. It's a loss of composure. It's a
loss of composure.
He needs a guardian angel in his social media.
Yeah, like if that, this is what I ask people. Like, if that happened in a football game, would anybody think twice about it? You shoved somebody and called them a name in a football game. It
Depends which name.
You probably wouldn't even get a flag.
Yeah.
If anything, the fans would celebrate it.
Yeah, right. Or literally hockey, man. They beat each other's asses all the time.
I mean, look, there's a reason I only watch hockey and UFC, and that's because there's fighting. Thank you.
So, look, I'm not excusing the guy.
So is he bodybuilding's bad boy? Is this his persona, or does he just have like a lot of problems and he just kind of blows up?
I don't know. I don't know what his story is. I don't know much about him.
I mean, you could, if you're a marketing person, you could lean into the narrative, but that's a dangerous narrative to lean into because,
I think there's a difference between becoming the villain, like becoming the heel of the, amusement,
exactly,
and then becoming truly someone that's either, non-representative of the sport. There's a difference between the heel and being non-aligned with the morals of the sport. And I think he kind of balanced that line. And some of us are taking stances on one side and some of us are seeing it from the other. But I think the one thing that just kind of rubbed me wrong is I've played a lot of different sports. I played a lot of football growing up since you were young enough to put on a helmet. And one thing is there's a lot of teams and a lot of different people you come across you just don't like on the other side of the field. And that's okay. And you can express that on the field. You can have a camaraderie. You can have a rivalry. But at the end of the day, no matter what, when that game's over, you learn to be a man by shaking their hand, and it's over with. And it's left there. It's not dragged on. It's not, because it becomes a distraction to your team. It becomes a knock on your own hard work that you put in and brought forward. And I just, that was one thing that was really the only thing that I looked at as a no-no. Is that at the end of the thing, you have good sportsmanship. You shake hands, and that's it. And you leave it there. And it can be a healthy rivalry. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah, it shows your ability to compartmentalize it and use it as fuel when it needs to be fuel, but not let it be emotion that's getting in the way of things and making you look unprofessional and distracting you outside of that.
Perfectly said. Yeah.
I think I just had a little bit of concern for the dude because it seemed like that appeared to be someone who's struggling with some mental health stuff.
Yeah. That's what I was asking. Is he struggling with something? And we probably don't know everything, or is this like he's actually playing a character? Because I mean,
Right,
this is
right. Is it an
No.
actual? Is it a meltdown versus?
No, it seemed pretty raw to me. I don't think
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
was Sean Ray. That's a tactic, right? That dude
Mhm.
embraces being the heel. I think.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun character to play.
Yeah.
Well, then
Yeah,
there was also Phil Heath. You know, Phil was kind of the heel and kind of like a villain, I guess you'd say, in the sport. But he never took it to the line of, never crossed the line of
Right.
embarrassing the sport or himself in his own camp, if that makes sense. He kind
Yeah,
of
what
thrives in, like Martin probably wants to.
What I saw out there is a guy that had a complete loss of emotions in a break. And I always, people are always quick to assassinate somebody's character. I just think you need to push the pause button for a second, and it's not to excuse somebody of poor behavior, but maybe say, hey bro, you okay? Is everything all right in your life? What's going on? And then there's some people that are there to beyond help. I've encountered them in my life, but I'm just saying that have a little bit of compassion for somebody that might be struggling.
I had a thought about the situation, like when it happened, and I think another reason that people may be reacting very strongly to this is he made a remark somewhere along the lines of like real fans would yada 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 yada, which turns it from like I did something bad into this is y'all's fault. And
Well, you know what they call that?
yeah,
That's gaslighting, man.
yeah, no, for sure.
Victim blaming, really.
Yeah.
But that would definitely explain, like, I think the reaction we saw on social media where like that mob mentality went like, wait a minute, we are your fans. Why are you like, why are you like casting stones at us?
Yeah, that's that was a little hard to swallow. But I mean, and then you have on the opposite end of the spectrum. That's why I'm a huge Wesley fan. I mean, that guy is just he came out and was shaking everybody. Mo, you could see he was just tired, man. He just put his hood up and escaped after the show, right? I get
Well,
it.
they
Man.
work those guys hard. I can't imagine Mo
He was
wasn't
like, I just want to go eat. I
Yeah.
saw him. Some people were like trying to corner him, and he's like, guys, I'm tired. I just want to go eat.
Yeah.
But Wesley stayed out there and shook everybody's hand, took pictures with everybody. He had his wife and his fucking kids with him, man. Like they were waiting for him, and the dude took his time. That's a guy that knows how it's done.
Well, how to work a crowd, like Schwarzenegger was like that too, by the way.
Yeah, and and that
Yeah, he
that
was a dick.
takes-
Schwarzenegger was definitely a dick. Yeah.
Was he?
Sorry.
Because I was gonna say, like, he seems very natural at kissing the babies and shaking the hands.
Yeah, he's good at that part, but he could be kind of mean to the. He had a reputation for being mean to the other competitors.
Yes, that's true.
He basically drove Mike Menzer over the edge. There's a lot of stories of him just completely pushing Mike Menzer over the edge.
Yeah.
You talk about people being really tired afterwards. I think that's one of the cool things about the Detroit Pro is that because they only have the two divisions, for the viewer, it's really great because you get to see a lot more of what these guys can do, right? And you see a lot more of each competitor, a lot more stage time. But from the competitor standpoint, that's got to be exhausting because they pose that living heck at it.
Oh man, they worked on. Well, Bill was the head judge. Bill works people. Bill's he's very fair. I mean, Bill's. I've had a lot of my clients compete in his shows. He does a great job.
He was pretty adamant about those guys staying in their boxes.
I mean, they were crowding each other up, man. They were bumping into each other. It was it's fucking annoying, man. They come out and put them in. I think they all you'll see what they do. Guys try to move up ahead of the line to make themselves look a little bit bigger, get a little closer to the judges. It's part of the gamesmanship of being on stage. If you can move yourself a little bit ahead of, some coaches and coaches will tell you to do that, to lean edge a little bit forward, and it makes your perspective makes you look a little bit bigger. But Bill wasn't having any of it.
Yeah. And I'm sure part of it is a psychological piece, right? Of kind of like edging somebody out a little bit or elbowing somebody a little bit and kind of creating that, I guess, invisible pecking order, if you will, of the lineup.
I saw a blessing in who was it? He was drawing with somebody up on stage. They were going back and forth.
It was Mo when they were trying to
Oh
when they
yeah.
when they were like looking down at each other's like at the square and like giving him the nudge. It was that was like that was really funny. But how did Blessing look in person? Because I was kind of torn with how I
Soft.
thought he looked on the screen. I thought so. I was like, they were going on about how great he looked, and I'm like, I'm just not seeing it.
No, he looked good from the front. He's very impressive. I mean, he's big as fuck. You know, he's definitely big. To me, he was a little soft from behind. You know, and like this is nitpicky. I mean, the most conditioned guy in the show well, at least in the open, was Elias McCall. I mean, that guy fucking nailed it, man.
It was nuts.
Man, his hamstring. He had the piano wire hamstrings, and like when he walked on stage, my eye went to him. I mean, Dave, you know how it is, man. When somebody walks out, I'm a conditioning guy. I love peeled guys just being fucking shredded. I think he's one of Cameron Cheek's guys, and Cameron gets guys rock hard on stage.
It's one of the first things that catch your eye. It's like what we talked about with Hottie when he stepped out in the Arnolds. The first thing wasn't the typical, oh, there's Hottie, granite, rock hard, or at least for Friday, you know. And when you have that and it's expected of you, you know, it is eye catching, and it sticks with you for sure. So good for him on his first pro show to just make an impression, you know, regardless of his placement.
I mean, I in my eye, man, he was second place, but
well, they were talking about him left and right, like they were giving him his credit on the commentary for sure. You know, it's just to battle his way towards the top.
I mean, I don't know what they were saying on the live stream. I didn't hear any of that, but to me, he caught my eye. I mean, Mo just has better shape. Mo's a professional. But Elias, I mean, to me, he was the best combination of size and conditioning up there.
He looked
on
thick.
What's that, Amy?
He looked just thick. Like every part of him just looked thick.
Is it my microphone cutting out, or I don't hear?
No, you're good.
You're good.
We can hear you. We got you.
Yeah,
we can hear you just fine. Can you hear us?
Yeah, my mic was cut, or my headphone was cutting out. Sorry.
Yeah. Did anyone else find Patrick Moore like solid? Because I thought he was outstanding, but again, I'm a novice, so
he has great. Patrick has great shape. His issue is always conditioning.
Yeah.
He just was not. He just wasn't as crisp as the other guys. I mean, if he was, he almost looks like a classic guy. Like he maybe should just come down and be classic.
Yeah, he might be a little small, right, for open. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think I don't know the guy, and I'm just purely speculating. I get he might be a guy that's, you know, and sometimes it's a realization that you need to come to, that you pushing for more size isn't the best thing for your look. I think if he came in just shredded to the bone, I don't know how far off he is from the classic cap, but if he just came in shredded to the bone, he would do much better. I don't know, you know, the approach of coming in fuller, and I don't know. To me, he looked like he was like 4 weeks out.
Yeah, rather than peak week. Yeah,
there's no they moved him around a lot, and then I don't think him included. There's nobody in that lineup who can say they weren't fairly compared, because they did a lot of shifting around between first and second call out and moving people.
I thought the judging was incredibly fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have put Elias ahead of Blessing, but Blessing probably has better shape. I don't know. I mean, maybe it was just a shape over conditioning thing, but Elias is just huge and conditioned. It was peeled, and to me, I like the big dudes in the open, big, hard peeled guys. That's what I like in the open.
Have they published the
glutes and hamstrings were just
guy's thick and peeled and hard.
Crazy. Yeah, it was grainy and just that was impressive to see.
Yeah,
Have they published a scorecard yet, or is that?
They're out.
Okay, they're.
Yeah,
you know, the thing I was just going to say about Patrick Moore, though, is I almost kind of look at it the other way, Paul, is like, if he can't get in conditioning without worrying about a weight cap, if he can't get that crispness that he's, you know, that you're looking for on the open stage, I don't see how you're going to accomplish it by looking even more downsized and stringy, because part of his look is having that round, shapely, tiny waist, big taper up top. I almost feel like he's got to be in shape in as big as possible, or he's not going to be successful, because it's just hard. I think he's way too past his weight cap from what I understand. But the other thing is he's shown when he does show up in shape, when he does come in crisp, he's a winning bodybuilder. I mean, he won California, I think, last year over Tonio, I believe it was. And so he's shown he's got potential. It's just, I think, a peaking problem. And from what I understand, a little bit of potentially a little, he gets a little mental in his own head and kind of strays away from coaching towards the end of the prep, from what I've heard. But
I think he has a reputation of firing coaches at the end of prep.
I like Justin Abbott told him last year, you just got to work harder.
Elias has some great pics on his Instagram.
I mean, Elias looked fucking great, man. That dude's fantastic. If I were in Patrick's corner, I would tell him to come in 5-10 pounds lighter. I think he would look better.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was about 10 pounds off of where he should have been at that show. And then he could have been competing for an overall if he'd been about 10 pounds heavier. Or 10 pounds lighter, sorry.
He's just
Well, he has everything else he needs. I mean, he's got the shape. He's got muscle in the right places. He's balanced top to bottom. I mean, he's a good poser. It's just he's just missing that last bit of thing, which is conditioning. They got to have it. Even the best guys, they come off, they just drop real far without that conditioning.
I mean, that could be a case of somebody who gets obsessed with the scale. These dudes that get really upset when the scale goes down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know him. I'm just speculating. I really don't know. This is why you need somebody in your corner that you can just defer to and let them drive. Just let them take the wheel. And I think probably an attribute of being highly successful is probably being stubborn and strong-willed, but then sometimes it can be a detriment too.
Yeah.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Well, he was working with Chris Aceto for a while last year. I don't see how you're going to get somebody that's a little,
they
more
parted ways.
flexible than-
What was it, 4 weeks before the Tampa? I think they split ways.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a cool show. I mean, I love the way that they put everything together. The lighting was just as cool as the background. Like, I agree with Gonzo. I was watching that going, this is probably one of the best streams I've seen in a while. Like, just the only suck part is it kept cutting out because I think the music on YouTube kept dropping.
It was.
Which is whatever. It happens. But, man, I felt like I could see exactly what was going on there, for sure, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, the Gilco guys are pros. I mean, if I were the IFBB, I would go to them and say, you guys are in charge of all the lighting and camera work at every single show. We need to set standards. I don't understand, like, some of the show. I was at a pro show last summer where they literally had no stage lighting. They were using the fucking hotel lights. They were in a hotel conference room. The night
At
of
a pro level show.
At night of the champs, the Mexico Pro was like that too, where they had the really shitty lighting.
their lighting was terrible.
Yeah, I'm like, the IFBB cannot allow that to happen. They need to have a lighting standard that needs to be inspected before the shows if they want to present things in a professional manner. I mean, the NFL, you know how detailed the NFL is with all that shit?
Oh yeah, they're planning the Super Bowl like a year out. Like the day after this Super Bowl, they're planning the next one.
Filming a Super Bowl.
They literally go out and measure guys' socks. They find guys for not having their socks pulled up to the right
Oh
height.
fuck, they do, don't they? Oh god, you're right. I'm glad I don't watch that shit anymore.
Yeah, they have the sock police in the NFL, but that's just the level of attention to detail. Like I don't know. There's a huge discrepancy from shows to shows, and I'll say it again, and this is just constructive criticism and not trying to be mean, but the Olympia needs to step it up, man.
Yeah,
And it
it's
makes it
better
harder.
to see how it looks this
better.
year being at the New Orleans. Like, is it going to be better there or is it going to be worse? It's a much different type of venue.
Yeah, the lack of standardization makes it harder for everybody involved, not just like the coaches and athletes, but I mean the tan people. They have to make that agree with the lighting. I don't know if they do this at all shows, but I know at a lot of shows, the actual tanning company comes and like measures the light and like, calibrates what they use according to that light so it looks good. And when they have to do that differently for every damn show, it makes it harder for everybody.
I
I
know
didn't
this
know
one.
that. Wow.
When I'm selecting a show, I only want to be in one that the Gilco guys are doing. I don't want to go out and end up looking like shit, and then everybody on social media is throwing stones at you. And
Oh my gosh, like last year.
And then if
the
you blame it
Prague
on the
show-
lighting, you sound like you're whining.
yeah,
Prague, it was like bodybuilding in hell. Like red carpet, red
Oh,
background, like
the
red
red.
lights.
I thought that looked kind of awesome. It's terrible, but it looked awesome.
Yeah.
But
Terrible.
Paul, you're right, Paul. Like, I mean, we spend a lot like of time and effort getting ready for shows, and then if you have stage pictures that are completely unusable at the end of it, I mean, it's just kind of a bummer. It's
I mean, especially those of us that use social media to make a living and market ourselves. I mean, that could be fucking suicide for your social media presence.
Yeah. I saw on the Dream Big special on Prime about the Olympia and how they set it up and all that. And it's ironic, like the lighting people were talking about and the stage people, how for a whole year they plan it so that it's perfect and only perfection will do in that presentation. And I'm like watching this and I'm like, I don't think that's how that works.
I don't consider perfection to be a whole bunch of billboard ads behind the athletes.
Exactly.
Well, I'm telling you, having been a photographer and done videography in the past, I can guarantee you what the fuck happened. Probably the lighting and the camera people had everything planned, and then some idiot marketing guys like, we're going to run a flashing billboard behind the stage
and ruined everything.
When you have all that backlight when you're a camera person, that is a nightmare.
Yeah.
That you have to counteract that with throw light from the front, man, and it's just like, and if you there's only so much you can throw at it, and when you got sponsors and constant color like you color calibrate. I watched the Gilco guys before they started the live stream. They were up there color calibrating everything to make sure they had the camera set correctly to match the color of the lighting on the stage. And when the background's constantly flashing and changing, you can't have anything locked in.
Yeah,
It's impossible. It's not the camera guy's fault. It's probably some idiot marketing guy thought he was a genius and being stubborn.
Yep.
About I know better than the dumb camera nerds.
Was it 2021 Olympia where they had so much fog that like you couldn't see the athletes at all? Like it was 21 or 22. It was when it was still in Florida, and I still remember like Jennifer Dory walking out and like literally you couldn't see a thing. Like it was just fog. Like,
I remember
Hottie
was
about
lost.
the Olympia. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, you remember Hottie was lost in the fog?
yes,
remember
like
that.
it was just so crazy, and then like it was so dark, and then all the fog. But like Paul said, like that wasn't like that was clearly like a marketing person being like, oh yeah, we're gonna put tons of fog,
But don't you think there's two sides to what's going to make? There's two sides to the coin with Olympia of what can make it a better product, and it's kind of like Mike and Paul and I talked about it the other day. Some of it's just the structure of the show. I mean, how is it going to be a good show when I have to wait for 70 classic guys, 70 whatever bikini girls, and not that you don't want the best athletes there or they haven't earned their right to be there, but waiting for your favorite girl to come on at 1:30 in the morning is just, it's not a good product by default, by the structure. So if you want to take a big bite out of making this a little more digestible for the consumer, which is who's paying for, that's your target, is who's putting money down to consume the product, then you kind of have to look at the structure. Like, how are we going to go about presenting people? And then the next step is kind of the visuals and the fun part, the lighting and how well can we preserve, get these guys to look on stage. I think there's more than just lighting to be worried about with Olympia.
Well, I think they did kind of reverse on that a little bit, going back to the point system where it was all you had to do was win a show to qualify, and then you end up with 80 classic physique guys and 900 men's physique guys, and because there's more men's physique pro shows than there are open, right? Like if I was an open, I mean, there's only like a dozen open shows and there's 900 men's physique shows, right? And I'd be pissed if I was an open guy. But what it should be is just, I think at the finals, just have the top 10 of each division come out.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would solve a
That's
lot of it.
simple.
Spend-
That's just call it down at prejudging. You can do prejudging during the day, and just have the top 10 out at night. That's it.
yeah.
I mean, that's how
Even
the Arnold
prejudging at the
manages that,
Olympia.
right? Because it's an invitational. So they can always say, it's an invitational. Only you guys get to come.
Yep.
Right.
Well, the Olympia could still cap it. I mean, they don't have to, they could still cap the amount. And that's what they're trying to do with the point system, which should
Yeah.
help. I mean, for bikini, it should bring it down from like 75 to probably like 55. It should reduce it some, but they've added in fit model, so we're going to have an additional 25 fit model competitors, and
55
while
is still insane. What they should do is just take the top 20 in points, do 20 at prejudging, and then cut it in half for finals. You got
Yeah.
the top 10 out there for finals, and that way finals is not 7 hours fucking long.
exactly.
You're sitting there all night long, and running behind schedule and goofing everybody's music up. I'm sure it's more shit to keep track of.
Yeah.
I mean, they goofed up everybody's music too. Like they're playing the wrong music for people. But when you got 700 people going up, you're going to make some mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
and
know.
it
I don't
really,
mean to-
it should be though the elite. I mean, I get it. Like, you want everybody to be able to have a chance to compete, but I go back to the Super Bowl analogy. Like the Super Bowl is the top 2 teams. Like, yes, all the teams are good, but it's not like we have like giant Super Bowl, like where all the teams play at once. And that's kind of how the Olympia ends up feeling sometimes. It's like, is it really a great experience for that person who comes in dead last out of 80? Like, is that great for them? Like, probably not.
We do have a
you
Royal
know?
Rumble.
Royal Rumble, just
Or Rumble exists. That's everybody on once. Well, not at once. But
But they eliminated them real quick at the Royal Rumble, though, right? I mean,
no, sometimes,
they keep it moving.
goddamn. I wish they would throw the fucking Masters in the regular Olympia instead of doing it overseas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck is
If they
that?
can have the amateur Olympia, they could absolutely have the Masters Olympia too. Like, I'd rather have the Masters Olympia than the amateur Olympia.
Yeah.
They can do it like on Thursday or something.
Yeah.
Do it on
I find it
Thursday.
so random that it's like in a completely different place in a different country. That's really random.
And
to
every
me.
other year, they don't do it every year.
Yeah.
It's every other
That's
year.
so weird.
I mean, if they did it like an extra day before or whatever, it would give them so much extra content too that they could then market and sell and work with.
Shit, make it a week-long event.
Yeah.
Well, look at the
why not?
look at the Super Bowl. It's a 3-hour event, and I've been to the Super Bowl, and they make it a whole week set up. All these different kinds of events, meet and greets, to this and that. There is more money making potential to stretch it out,
Absolutely.
and it's more consumable.
People love my $10 Amazon hats. I get these cheap ass hats on Amazon.
I got my
Don't give away the secret, Paul.
muscle project
There
today.
you go.
But Mike's hat's a little snug on my head, man. There's very few hats that actually fit me.
What
I
size
was
hat are
trying
you,
to-
Paul?
7 7/8.
No,
I'm
you're
a
bigger than
7
that,
and a
man. I'm
quarter.
an 8.
What?
Damn.
Paul,
I
you're
wore
bigger than
Mike's
that.
hat
I'm
this
an
morning. Mike's cozy hat, the fleece one. It's like 17 degrees out today, so I wore it on my walk this morning. It was fantastic.
What
Yeah,
you
the
say,
hat
Josh?
was not the problem. Paul's head's the problem.
Mr. Paul head problem. No, I haven't measured my head for a hat in a long time. I might be a fucking 8 by the now. I don't know.
You
You're
for sure are.
definitely-
Get your Muscle Project hat at muscleproject.net.
Yeah,
There you go.
there you go.
Oh, Joshua.
Is that GH making your head big?
Seth Feroci was giving out free hats, and I wanted an Axe and Sledge hat, and neither one of them fit on my fucking big ass head,
Oh.
even all the way down to the last band. Couldn't fit them on my head.
Oh, yeah, I've never had a band hat fit. I mean,
We're just going to sell anabolic bodybuilding turbans so they can be one size fits all.
I mean, you could do nursing hat.
I'm more of a do-rag kind of guy, Dave.
There you go. Yeah, it's easy enough.
Scully. I'm gonna be like Josh and get anabolic bodybuilding Scullies.
I mean,
Yeah,
man.
or a
Look, you got
toboggan.
blue collar
That's
bodybuilding or
stretchy.
anabolic bodybuilding. I'm good to go. I got a patch.
A little bit, so.
Yeah, main thing is have the buttons for the mask.
You need a Velcro skull cap, and then you could just knock all the patches
Oh, yeah.
on your head.
You know what?
Sorry to the Olympia promoters. I didn't mean to make this a bash the Olympia.
Yeah.
But I mean,
episode
that's-
again.
It's a good
Yeah.
comparison point because that's the biggest show. It's usually in Vegas, and it's like, get some good cameras, assholes.
You know, it's
It's-
just
It's crazy because they talk, because I watched that documentary too, and like I can really appreciate the amount of effort and care and detail that they are putting into it. Like, they clearly put so much into it, but it makes me wonder, who are they listening to?
You can work hard and make bad decisions.
Right.
Do it all the fucking time.
Oh, for sure.
I said this last year when we were right after the Detroit. I think it was a very similar conversation, and it's just like sometimes when you have been the boss for so long, you don't necessarily consider ideas outside of your echo chamber.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a leadership problem.
You just kind of assume, oh, we're the best, we're going to keep doing it.
And I'm not trapping a
voices in my head
Mannion,
told me to do
but if
this.
a
This can't
Mannion
be real.
it's a good idea, he's got the wherewithal and the resources to get it done, and it's not really going to be talking anybody out of it if he decides it's a good idea to put a billboard behind the competitors.
Yep.
It's an uphill battle, and there's not any real competition. It's not like there's another league out there that's challenging the IFBB, so that's not going to change anytime soon.
Well,
I'm not bashing those guys. They've been a phenomenal for the industry for a lot of years. But
the IFBB may be the federation, but there are many different promoters that put on the shows, and there's some promoters that do a way better job than the others. I don't know if I'm telling you, all the top promoters that have the best looking shows are hiring the Gilco guys to do their lighting and production.
That's a common business practice for the IFBB, is to have these preferred vendors.
Yeah.
So why not make IFBB the preferred vendor for lighting at every competition?
I mean, you were at Masters Nationals. Gilco did the lighting there, and the pictures and everything turned out fucking great, man. They look great, better than the Olympia.
Yeah, the live stream was really
And
good
that was just
too.
in a shitty hotel ballroom, man. It wasn't. They made that look good.
Yeah. Dave, what have you, now that you're promoting a show this year, what have you learned about show promotion that kind of has surprised you or like changed your opinion about some of this at all?
Well, I'm just sponsoring it, so I don't get really much of, say in how the show is kind of done necessarily. But one thing that gravitated me to sponsor this one was the venue itself and the enjoyability of the show. Like this one that Jackie and I are sponsoring, Team Blue Collars, sponsoring for the Rhode Island NPC Championship. It's in a casino. It has a perfect stage for it. It's big enough. It's set up so we can have vendors. Like everything can be encapsulated perfectly, like from parking to walking in and having a place to sit as a competitor is like all ideal. So I don't get to choose anything I'm not even close to involved in like lighting and setup or anything like that. But that's what gravitated me, was literally what we're talking about, how the scheduling of the show was done last year. I said, wow, like everything's on time. Everything's very like consumable. Like the breaking period that they had for intermissions was perfectly on time. And they didn't know how many competitors they were going to have until last minute. It ended up being like, I think it was 180 competitors, like 300 between crossovers. 300 spots, which was pretty good, for around us. But that's at least all I can say is that's what gravitated us towards putting our money up for a show and representing. Was you come to New England and you want to see a cool amateur bodybuilding show, this is how it's done. So I like those aspects, and I think a lot of the people putting the show together consider all those things. It's just not by chance. They're actually trying to make it as consumable first. So it's kind of like Tanya says, who are they asking for advice? It sounds like they're listening to the consumer and the athletes first, So that's what I picked up from it.
I think that's the same thing the Detroit Pros do. You have a promoter who has competed in this millennia, first of all, which is huge. Like, he understands the dynamics of it better than anybody else, and he came in with that show with the intention of doing it just a little bit better than everybody else is doing it from the competitor's viewpoint. So, now, this is the kind of thing that incites the kind of changes we're talking about. As Detroit Pro becomes more and more popular, and more people will favor that type of show. People get pickier, like Paul was saying, about which shows they want to compete in, because how does it reflect on them and their social media presence? And then everybody's kind of forced to change at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the same situation here with the NPC Rhode Island show. Is the promoter that's putting it on is one of the judges. He's a competitor, IFBB pro. He came through New England, in his amateur years. So I think he's got the same intentions of making it a good show for the competitors, not just the consumers.
The Tampa was really great when I was down there for that. That was a great show.
Yeah, the lighting was really good there.
Yeah, I always hear good
was-
stuff about the Tampa.
There was commonality there. The Gilco guys did the lighting there too. So yeah. And Tim Gardner's shows are always top notch. The way they treated the athletes down there was Fawad, though, just listening to him talk and watching him interact with everybody, he's just very humble. He's a guy that's in service. He's there for the athletes and the fans. I'm not saying the guy doesn't care about making money, but he seems like that's his second priority. He's trying to put a good product out there for the fans.
Yeah, for sure. And what an interesting year for Fouad. He has definitely, I think, shown the type of person that he truly is in recovery from this injury. I mean, it really is inspirational to see how he has continued to push forward, not only in bodybuilding, but he's stayed true to, a lot of these same things. Like the show, like everything about it. Like have been very impressed to see how he has navigated what is just an impossible situation in life, with a lot of grace.
Yeah. He's got a great, tough but fair attitude that really resonates in everything he does.
What says a lot about his character is the fact that before he even, as soon as he found out his arm wasn't likely going to recover fully, he went out and had his motorcycle retrofitted so that he could still ride it with one arm. That's a never say quit kind of guy right there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once you've survived that, why stop? Keep living your life. I think when you have that type of situation where you realize just how fine of a line we all walk every day between life and death, to think that he would stop living his life, which is what a lot of people would do, though. The fear and everything would make them just kind of stop living, and it hasn't with him. And I think I agree. That's just a very inspirational thing.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad I came up for this. This was a fantastic experience. Anybody who's been on the fence about coming to the show, what a great production. I met a ton of people. Everybody was super friendly. It was just really good experience.
Yeah, Zionic actually asked at the beginning if you thought it would be worth it to do the 110 for VIP finals only, or go for the whole day. He's thinking about going next year. What do you think?
If you want to see Wesley Wizard, yeah.
I mean, you're seeing everything twice. I mean, I think the guys actually look crisper in the prejudging for the most part. You want to see the best of what everybody looks like, the prejudging, but it is a long ass day. If you're limited on time, just go to finals. I mean, they did run everybody through again. I mean, you get your money's worth in finals. It's not like they're bringing them out and handing out the awards. They ran everybody through everything again. You get to see the whole enchilada again in the evening. So I like watching prejudging, but not everybody wants to be at a bodybuilding show for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, prejudging is really where the judging is done. So
yeah, I mean, I pretty much had the lineups. I nailed the top 5 in the open. I had it pinned down. I mean, it's I know what Bill looks for too, and my eyes pretty much the same. I gravitate towards the same things that he does, and so yeah.
Shout out to our buddy Jeremy on his first place win.
Jeremy looked great. Yeah, Jeremy did a great job.
Oh yeah.
Barely made it in under the cap.
Really?
What's the cap? What did he weigh? What's the cap?
I mean, he was just like he was sweating it down to the end, man. He was just under. I don't remember what it was. 180 something.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
No, he looked great. He looked really good. He looked fresh too. I appreciated that. He looked very good.
What's funny is some people. That's when you know you're a bodybuilder versus a classic guy. Like if you're barely making the cap at a local show,
right?
You're not a classic guy. You're a bodybuilder. It's time.
You're doing
time
the
to
moving
just
up, right?
Time to put on 20 more pounds and just embrace being a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked good.
All right, guys, I'm going to hop off of here. I am going to try to catch a workout before I go to the airport. And then back
All
to
right.
DC,
Safe travels.
and
Yeah, safe travel, sir.
7 consult calls tomorrow, so it's going to be a busy day.
Have fun, Paul.
All right, see you guys.
All right.
See you.
Paul. So, Dave, before we ask, there's a couple of questions, but one thing I would like to talk about, I know you and I didn't talk about this ahead of time, is what do we all think about Mike missing weight? I thought about it so much over the course of the last week, and I just I'm more frustrated with his coach than I
He missed
even am
height.
with him.
He missed height, and then he missed weight, right?
Wait, we're
What do you
talking
think, Dave?
Summerfeld?
Mike
Are we
Summerfield
talking
or
about
Summerfield?
Summerfield? Oh, so
Yeah.
I have a theory there, but again, I'm the new guy, so who knows?
Okay, go. I like
So my
conspiracy theories.
theory is this: he brought his legs up a lot. So in order to balance it out, that means we got to bring the top up a lot, which is weight, right? And there's only so far he can go. So given his size, height, and width,
He was
he's-
overweight at the Olympia, so I don't think he
Yeah.
brought up his physique that much. I think this is really just a weight height issue. But
Yeah,
like Dave, since you coach competitors, I mean, how would you feel as a coach, knowing that your competitor was was maybe
Never
not
was
being truthful about his
constantly
height?
doing this.
Well, we have to go off the height that's given to us, regardless of what you think your height is. Okay, so if he thinks he's 5'8", but he's really 5'6", or
I'm
whatever,
5'7",
whatever the
he's
number,
shorter than me for sure.
whatever the number was, it's regardless. You have to go off of what your last. We're going to go off of what your last height was. So if he didn't make weight at his 5'9" or whatever he thought he was going to be for the Olympia, which is a big mess up. If I was the coach, I'd be saying, I really don't care. We're going to go on the safe route. We're going to make sure that we're going to weigh in for worst case scenario, which
Absolutely.
is 5'7" or whatever it was. Just pick the number, the lower height, and that's what you stick with. And
I feel like
if you get the chance where you get weighed, heighted in, and you're getting an extra inch, cool. Hopefully stress drops and you can actually get a little tighter and maybe eat a little bit more the day of the show or the day before. But you can't play. That's step one. If you want to get on the stage, step one is making weight. And that's the division he picked, was classic. So it is what it is. I mean, yeah, I would give it a little bit of a knock to the coach to a point, but he needs to know that too. And he's also responsible for signing up to his own shows. He's responsible for making sure things are on time as an athlete. That's not always up to your coach either. I'm not signing
He's
anybody.
responsible to knowing his time zone.
So he was like an hour late and 2 inches short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as a coach, I'm with you, Dave. I'd be like, look, let's actually so that we are on the same page. Let's actually measure you and see how tall you actually are, man.
I
and
feel like they
then
were
with that-
I feel like they were banking on him being the inch taller that he always got away with before, and they cracked down on it this time, and he didn't make it. I don't think they should have banked on that.
Yeah, it's just I would, as a coach, I think I would feel a lot of embarrassment because it is such a national stage, such a
Well,
big show.
This is
And
the
also,
second time it's happened, right? Or is this third at Big Show
Second.
Twice that I know.
Second.
yeah.
in a row, right? In the last, yeah, it's been bad.
And he's talked about it and caused drama about it. It's only gonna the audacity to think that they're not going to crack down after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're not paying attention. I
Mhm.
mean,
And I'm glad that they were trying to be somewhat transparent with the heights,
Mhm.
right? They did record them. They did put the cameras on them. Whether we got to see him actually stand under the tape measure, who cares? The reality is he didn't make the weight, the height, so he can't make the weight. And I'm glad they didn't give him anything, to be
Mhm,
honest.
mhm.
I'm
They're
glad
not
they
going to
didn't-
continue to look like fools. Yeah.
Yeah, because look at Urs, right? If you gave Urs an extra inch or two on his height, he'd be classic Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
If he was allowed to play with an extra 8 pounds, I'm
Oh, but
convinced
he
of
looks
that.
so good in open.
Yeah.
So you think it's kind of a low key cheat, like he's been trying to get away with what he can for as long as he can?
Yeah,
I mean,
it works.
absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, look at his hair. Look at the way they do it. They try to stretch out with inversion tables. And hey, if you can show up and stand under the measuring tape and be the height you want, 5'9", good for you. But you can't fluff your hair up. Like if you stretch yourself out a little bit and you get your posture right. I mean, I understand.
Surgical foot implants. Just put surgical foot. You only need an inch, right?
in a sport with not many rules, we got to hold something in line. And this is definitely weight is something in bodybuilding and height that we have to hold in line, especially if you want to preserve classic.
It's the most basic. I think that's a minimum possible expectation.
Right.
Is to measure
Is
people correctly.
Wesley underweight? Because I think it's just saying that to be funny.
No, he
Say that
is.
again.
So,
He is
I mean, do we
actually
think
underweight.
that? Yeah, he's confirmed it many times. Do we think Mike is going to show up at the Arnold UK? He's still on the list.
I hope so.
I don't think
If he
so.
loses 8 pounds, yes.
I think the conversation should be, when do we expect Mike to step up and admit that he's like a 212 guy?
After Prodigy leaves the 212 region.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he
Wanna compete against
one thing
Keon?
I'll give Mike a lot of credit for is he works his butt off to get down to his weight class. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't blame him for trying to cheat an inch or so, but the reality is he's only going to be there for so long. How is he going to progress? You're going to max out you can only distribute weight so much, and that's kind of like a fake thing. Like you can redistribute your weight on and stay the same weight and kind of move mass around, but it's not as easy as said and done. You're talking like you get lucky with scenarios like that.
Well, and the stress of having to do that. I mean, that's what Urs talked about so much too, with why he finally made the decision to move up to open, because it was just so stressful to always be worried about not gaining too much, but still trying to progress, but then having to cut so aggressively and not lose your look. Like the stress of that too, at some point, like is going to really diminish the look as well, which is what we saw at the Olympia. You know, he didn't look that great because he had to cut so aggressively at the end.
And it may take a year or two for Urs to build the size he needs to be competitive, but he's in the right. He's heading in the right direction. Yeah, and I think we could say the same thing about Mike Sommerfeld too. I mean, the way his quads have grown, like what Gonzalo brought up in the beginning, like he could very easily be very competitive in the open.
Yeah, I think so. Especially because he's managed to keep his waist really small too. You know, even adding some size. Yeah.
Yep.
No, it should be interesting at the Arnold UK. I mean, there's a lot of up in the airs, and Martin is still on the list as well. And you know, I'm really hoping that Martin does go and has his little redemption arc. You know, like actually acts like a professional, looks good, comes in peaked. You know, I think he should do that for his. You know,
Do you think he came in peaked at the Arnold? Was he had his best? Because I felt like he was at his best. He's just
no,
He looked
definitely not.
amazing.
not at all.
No, but he
Okay.
was nowhere near his peak. He was
Okay.
not
No,
near his
he-
Prague.
Was
He might have
Prague-
walked on looking good, but you know, there's some tactics that I'm assuming he was trying, because to get yourself to sweat that quickly and that easily, and plus, like, he's got other things to work on. It's not a great peak if you don't hold it together. Like
Yeah.
you can step on great, but you can quickly fade, or you can quickly have like Mike's talked about, that big cortisol dump where everything falls apart really fast, and you can't coach your way out of that. That's up to you as an athlete. Yeah, I don't think it was Martin's best by any means. I think he could have placed higher if he held it together a little bit better, you know. But the judges don't want to see you sweating on just the third go round of posing by any means.
No, and his core control was not good from the very beginning. Like that was the very first thing I noticed when they very first came out in the first lineup. I was standing there with Justin Harris, so he and I were kind of standing in the back watching. I'm like, oh gosh, like even the first couple of poses, I'm like, ooh, like core control was not good. He did but his core control did improve, and he looked a lot better on Saturday. But I think that was far from his best look overall. Like, and just far from his best presentation, like you said, Dave. It just wasn't a great presentation overall. And he those are issues that he knows. This is what got me blocked, was me talking about him being sweaty on stage. Like he knows that about himself.
Yeah.
Dave, what would you say to him? Like, how would you coach an athlete who you knew kind of had those cortisol dumping issues and would get watery on stage? Like, what kind of things would you do to help them?
I mean, if they were he might be the kind of person I can stop and present that to and say, hey, let's just go take a look at our own game tape here. Like, let's just forget about the placing. Let's talk about your individual performance and how we can improve that, because that's the only control we have. I can't control how well Hadi looks. I can't control where Nick's at that day, but we can stop and we can reevaluate and say, what can we do better? And if it's a matter of mentally being in control, or maybe the coach says, hey, I'm making a flub here too, like I'm forcing food with not enough water and now we're distended, or maybe we're using a little bit too much insulin that gets us to, you know, sometimes insulin in fast sugars kind of gets that sweat going from people. You fill up quick, but you can dump it out really easily. So there could be just an audit on yourself, coach, athlete, and say, how do we improve as a team? That's all we have to worry about. And then let off seasons be off seasons. Those are where you address bigger problems. But for right now, can we perform better on show day? That's how I'd go about it. And hopefully the athlete doesn't take it the wrong way. They go, yeah, you're right. I can do this better. We've done it a million times posing differently. We've done it a million times keeping our head together. We've been through tougher times on prep than we are today. Like the show days is kind of easy. It's just hold it together a little mentally. And it's actually tough on a coach because there's only so much I can do. There's only so much I can do as the hours lead up to stage time. It's actually where your psychology, your psychiatry as a coach comes into big play quite a bit.
It's just whether or not the athlete goes into survival mode.
Yeah. And that's part of
in
your
that together mode, right? Like you're in a working a
Flow
common
state.
goal. You know, how do you merge that? Yeah.
And that's something that Jackie and I talk about a lot because that's really that's kind of a specialty we can do is like when it's stage time, we can try to keep people pretty calm. And that's our whole goal is to get you in one piece, you know, not like a shaken, frail person stepping on stage and say, hey, slap them on the butt, say good luck. You have to prepare them, get them. Some people need to get amped up. Some people need to get calmed down. You need to know your athlete too. So.
Yeah. I think
I don't
he
know
needs
how
to
many.
kind of-
Oh, sorry, Amy.
No, go ahead, Gonzo.
No, I was
You go.
just gonna say, like, I don't think so many people realize. Like, I know I didn't realize it until last year. Like, how much the psychology will affect your physical look within 24 to 48 hours. It's crazy.
The body
Like,
listens to the mind.
And we
You
could do it in an
literally-
hour.
Oh yeah, you look like an entirely different person. You know, depending on how you manage that stress level and cortisol and all that stuff.
I mean, you poop yourself in fear, you lose 2 pounds.
Yeah.
I will absolutely be taking half a Xanax on show day. I have a prescription for it. I am not just blindly recommending
You're not just snorting it like most bodybuilders.
that. No, it's in
You
its
know
orange
what?
bottle.
You know what I did?
guys, no problem.
Tanya, you know what I did last year was I'm kind of a jittery I have some sort of issue where I got like a little bit of a tremor, unfortunately affect myself. I get I'm just like so high strung. Sometimes I radiate. I shake.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
And anyways, I switched over. Now, this is not a suggestion for everybody because this is talking our medical, our medicines, but like my beta blocker, I would switch from Nebividol the week of the show to propranolol. And that gave me a little bit more of a calmness in my posing where I was less shaky. It just helped with that stage anxiety, they call it, you know, where I don't really get stage anxiety, but I have to keep my amped feelings down. So that definitely helped me stay calm. So that's one thing that I looked into and I thought actually worked great.
Yeah, if
no,
I
that's
recall
great, guys.
correctly,
That's,
a lot of public speakers do that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we do medically.
Yeah.
Like for people that have like test anxiety, they try Klonopin and other things, but yeah,
Yeah.
the beta
Yeah.
blockers usually all people really need. It's just,
But this is something you can stay clear-minded. Like if Xanax wouldn't work for me.
yeah, the
because
different
of
ones do psychological. This is just
Yeah, right.
Anxiety because some people have anxiety and it shoots their stuff up. So if you just their stuff can't shoot up.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you take like
And I like your
Xanax-
change where you're
you
bit
take a
of wall for your
Xanax
heart
or a
only and
Soma,
over
that
to
might
whatever.
not work. That might not work at all.
yeah, I don't recommend.
Oh, it'll
it.
work fine for me. I won't even feel half of one. It'll just make me chill.
Yeah, she's just gonna-
Well,
yeah.
you're used to it, Tanya. Like you said, you got a prescription. You're accustomed to it. It's not going to be your first go around stepping on
Right.
stage with that medication. So even for me, like I knew propranolol was going to help, but I made sure to experiment coming in closer on peak week. But one other thing I was going to say, you know, Amy, is like, how do you address some of these things with your clients, whether it's Martin or like with the issues he had, or Mike with like being realistic, showing up to a show, is like, it does depend a lot on your client too. There's some people, again, I can't emphasize enough that I can speak to in a certain way and be very direct, and they're just going to understand we're working right now. I need to just take this as word for word verbatim of what they want me to do. And then there's other people I have to dance my words around because they just get more sensitive and more edgy as we get closer to the show. Like, good example, Jackie and Tanya did a little posing the other day together. And Tanya's the kind of person where we could just say, we're going to work real quick. Let's tell you everything we need to tell you and just go right through it. I don't have to parse my words. Where there's other people, they're like, well, I've been working on this posing routine for 12 weeks now. I don't want to change this and that. You know, you have to dance around. You have to understand that, or you're not going to be productive.
I've been working on mine a hell of a lot longer than 12 weeks, and I'm still willing to make whatever changes look better.
Yeah. Well, and plus you don't want that person to be unsure. Now they're 4 weeks out from a show going, oh, I'm changing things that I've been working on for 16 weeks. And you don't want them to be edgy about that. So knowing
and the experience with, especially like with posing, matters a lot too, because if you're really experienced and pretty skilled with it, you can make changes pretty easily. But if it's somebody newer, even if what they're doing doesn't look great, I mean, if they're comfortable with it and you give them something they're uncomfortable with, they're going to look worse.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, I think actually Mike and Martin would benefit a little bit from like having some switch ups a little bit. Like Mike could be a little bit more into like honest with himself and not so much with his persona. You know, he has that, like, what does he call it, Ebus? That he has this like, and I feel like Martin could use a little Ebus. Like I feel like Martin could use a little bit of the ability to have a bit of a persona on stage that isn't maybe his natural tendency to become very emotional and wear his heart on his sleeve and kind of freak out and throw a little temper tantrum. You know, like he needs some Ebus. Like he needs some like ego. Yeah. I think that helps a lot of competitors too, is kind of having your stage persona or your, you know, the thing that you kind of embody on stage, you know.
And we absolutely, we do that in the gym. So, you know, it should be easy to kind of do that same thing on the stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
Make sure you flex between sets for maximum effect.
Absolutely.
Well, we have 2 questions. Do you guys want to take the questions?
Let's go.
We only have a couple. All right. First one is from Pal Stallion. Hey guys, just curious what blood markers you consider to be most important to check on cycle with no sides. I was thinking cholesterol, RBC, hematocrit is more needed with it. He's wondering if he should check more since he's not having side effects.
On cycle, no sides. We could just assume he's on only test GH, since he didn't tell us anything else as far as I know. If you're just going to take your bare bones and you're just test GH, I mean, you're talking about ApoB, cystatin C, A1C, and then your CBC, CMP, like your general stuff. But if you're taking a bunch of other stuff, you know, what's your blood pressure? Your real thing if you're on that kind of cycle is blood pressure, blood sugar, and then like, you know, what's my blood sugar like after like an hour after I eat? Am I digesting my food?
Yeah, and that's easy stuff. You can just do that at home.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I'm always getting people with A1C. Like I like checking blood sugars every time we're going to go draw bloods. It's cheap enough and it's easy enough to get done. And the more I get of that metric, the more I'm painted a better picture. Granted, I get 3 months average with an A1C, but that doesn't paint me the whole picture. I like getting, if you're going to get A1C, I suggest to everybody to get fasted insulin tested as well. Because that's going to give you a more encompassing look of the whole glucose management picture as a whole. A lot of people can handle good blood sugar. You know, their body can do just fine with managing their A1C, but to what cost to the pancreas are we doing that? Am I redlining the pancreas to get a beautiful A1C number? And if that's the case, then we're not done discussing A1. We're not done discussing glucose management.
No,
you know,
absolutely. Like, there's more to get, and you're right. But for him, he just wanted. I think he's on cycle. He just wanted to know what blood work should he get. So quick and easy. That I definitely think fasting insulin is definitely a better one to add because like you said, you can tell how much you're going. The other thing you'd see if you did a full LDL or full whatever cholesterol, you'd see your triglycerides. If your triglycerides are going up, then your morning cardio needs to go up. Yeah, or your DH might need to go down.
Well, there's a missing component here. I mean, not only do we not know what his cycle is, and Pal's on a lot of our stuff in the chat. And I'm pretty sure he's on more than testosterone. So we can assume that he's on just a regular cycle with a reasonably intelligent design on the cycle, and he's not trying to kill himself with super physiological doses of Trembolone or whatever. Like, there's thing you should be, if you are on cycle, if you're stacking compounds, something you should be doing on a regular basis is checking your fasted blood glucose at home. And a kit to do that's about $30 on Amazon or Walmart. So there's no excuse not to, unless you're too much of a sissy to prick your finger. And if you're stabbing yourself with a needle, that's probably not the case.
The finger thing hurts more.
Yeah, it's more annoying for sure.
And then the other thing is that you need to be monitoring your blood pressure almost daily, if not daily, and you need to be taking action to mitigate that. So having having some sort of blood pressure control if it's necessary, because those two variables change the answer to this question quite a bit, right? If you're doing all that, let's assume that you are managing your blood pressure and you're taking it on a regular basis and it's not running elevated, yeah, then you're probably not too much pressure to get a cystatin C and EGFR test. But if you are not managing that and you think you don't have high blood pressure, you might be wrong. And then it is pretty good idea to check your kidney function, because extended having high blood pressure for extended length of time is going to do damage to your kidneys. It's not an if or a when. It's like it's
dehydration and blood pressure,
right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're right. You can just do a CBC and a CMP and you're probably good with those couple of tests and throw an A1C in there. And but make sure you're doing the other stuff that you're supposed to be doing, and then you can keep the labs simple. If not, if you haven't done labs in a while and you're not monitoring those two things that I just mentioned, you really should do like the full panel, and you can do it. Order it yourself at Alta Labs. I think most of us have a code, so you can go to, including Paul, if you want to go to any of our websites or Instagrams, you can get a code there, and you can just put TRT or bodybuilding into the search engine, and it'll bring up a list of things you can choose, and it's all pretty reasonable. It's not even worth arguing with your doctor to get him to pull good labs when you can just do it that simple through all.
It's literally worth saving the mental stress to just buy.
It's like $30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with blood pressure. Blood pressure is like completely non-invasive. You buy the device once.
You just go to Walmart and sit down for
Yeah.
5 minutes and turn it on.
It's what, $30-$40 maybe for like a okay unit.
Depends how big your arm is.
Yeah,
You
and then do it every
Go
day.
to Walmart, like
So he's doing his fasting
cycle test.
Oh, there we go.
insulin
Bravo.
and blood pressure. This is his first cycle of 300 testy.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, insulin
Looks nice.
looks
Yeah.
good. Blood pressure is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would watch that 77 a little bit, make sure it's not creeping up.
If it's your first cycle ever, I would grab a cystatin C just to have a baseline if you don't have.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look like you got fast insulin, so yeah. Cystatin C is always expensive.
Yeah. Get a baseline of your kidney function. Like you get your EGFR.
EGFR.
You might as well see
You
where
want
it's
the
at.
cystatin C EGFR.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
best one.
Yeah.
And make sure you do it nice and hydrated too.
Yes. Don't go
Yeah,
get
that's
your
the-
blood drawn when you're dehydrated.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. I get guys that take they're obsessed with their testosterone totals and they take them at all different times of the day. Just find a consistency of your blood drawings. I think almost everyone's going to get the most consistent with their food intake, their glucose, and probably cortisol levels from morning testing. And you're probably going to get your highest end of your testosterone total from your morning testing. So if you want to keep numbers kind of where you're comparing apples to apples and not different variables that come into play later on in the day, my metrics are going to be a little different after work at 5:30 than it is going to be at 8 o'clock in the morning. So
For sure.
that's one little thing I'm a weirdo about. I tell everybody we're going to pick a time, and this is going to be, you're going to have a little routine. It's going to be a liter of water, fasted, and check your, I want to see your blood pressure and stuff, anything we can check like fasted glucose ourselves before we go get your blood work, and it stays at the same times if we can. I understand life happens, schedules get in the way, but it will make a difference. People tell me like, why is my testosterone all over the place? And they're getting testing at different times. It does make a difference.
It's no different than expecting your weight to be a relatively even measure, and you're weighing yourself at the end of the day versus early in the morning fasted versus middle of the day when you've had water, you've gone to the bathroom. If you
It's
don't
the
keep
same
it consistent, same concept.
Same concept. Yeah. And if you need help, pal, just, myself, Mike, Paul, you can reach out to any of us, do a consult, or, we can help you set up your blood work. Code Blue Collar at Alta Labs works as well. Shameless plug.
I love it.
Right.
All right. Well, next one is from our favorite Gamboni Law. This is actually two very different questions, but I'll ask the whole thing and we'll kind of discuss what you consider a low carb lifestyle diet. If your daily maintenance calories are under 3,000, does low carb really affect body composition, or is it done mainly to suppress appetite? So he's asking, like I said, two questions. What do we consider a low carb diet? And then do we do it to affect composition or for compliance reasons and satiety?
Well, I would say if you're eating 3,000 calories of protein, man,
Yeah, I don't know that you could low. You're gonna be in a lot of fat.
Yeah.
Well,
Mostly
let's put it this-
practicality.
Well, hang on. 99% lean meat.
Well, let's put it this way.
But that's
if
a
you
lot
have-
of it.
Generically, 100 carbs or less is what I would say low carb.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Percentage wise, though.
Well, right.
Yeah,
It's probably
yeah,
better
yeah.
on
Calorie
percentage,
intake.
but- right.
what were you gonna
Well,
say, Dave?
let's put it this way. If you let's say 3,000, this is what I would do on someone's diet usually. Let's say 3,000, just for conversation's sake, is Gamboni's maintenance calories. It's just 3,000. That gives you, let's say, you weigh 200 pounds. Let's just say 1 gram of protein. So you're getting like 200 grams of protein. There's 800 calories there. Let's say 0.35 grams per pound of lean body mass. Let's just call it 200. So you're getting 70-ish, 75 grams of fat right there. And that's 600 something calories off the top of my head. So you're leaving yourself like 1,500 calories to hit maintenance with carbohydrates if you want. So that brings you to around 400, brings you around 400 carbs. So if you wanted to, you could even create a deficit at 300 carbs, 200 protein, 70 fat, and you're in the deficit of 1 pound of fat loss per week. And that's going to definitely be enough carbs where you're not going to look too flat or too stringy. And you're still going to be pushing yourself into a deficit to a point to, average like a pound.
Yeah, the lower your calories get, the less you rely on carbs, the harder it's going to be to support your performance. So it's really, the lower they get, you want to have more of that to be carbs versus fat for sure.
Those
Yeah.
are literally my cut macros right
And
now.
that's the follow up is how much,
Good for you,
I don't
Josh.
I don't really want to say to somebody like this number is low carb or high carb. It's really kind of like, what do you need? And then considering going lower than that would be low carb. But yeah, anyone that's on 150 carbs or less a day, it's probably that's pretty low carb for most people. But
Yeah.
it does affect body composition. If you want to look full and round and have good gym performance, you want to be able to use as much carbohydrates as possible.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
because
let's
what
just
are we
say again-
talking about when we're talking about body composition? It's more muscle versus fat. What fuels the muscle is glycogen, and that comes from carbs. So
Yeah.
Well, and
Some
Tanya, your
glucose
carbs are
does.
low now, but your overall calorie intake is also low because you're, deep into prep.
Mhm.
So it's, it's a balance of things, asking like, what do we consider a low carb lifestyle diet? I mean, it really is going to be that percentage of calories. So where those carbs land is going to be a little bit different. But I mean, if you look at like, oh my gosh, like real keto zealots, they're going like less than 10% for sure of calories would be from carbs.
yeah,
So,
if I was
yeah.
on the same calories right now, but dieting like that, I would feel like shit.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, Dave, I don't know what you've seen. I'm certainly like with lifestyle clients, I don't find that low carb diets are necessarily more like satiety inducing, and they're much harder for compliance. A person might drop a lot of water right away when they go on a low carb diet. So it can seem like that, but it's really hard to maintain. And it just makes your diet not a lot of fun in the long run,
Yeah.
at least for lifestyle.
That's why I wanted to paint a picture of you can still eat 300 grams of carbs and be in a pound deficit
Mhm.
and have plenty
Yeah.
of protein and adequate fat for, hormonal
That's without
support,
adding
and
your
feeling better, even though
exercise,
you're,
right?
what's that?
You were taking out basically 1,000 or basically taking out 3,500 calories per week. So that's like a pound without doing anything extra on your exercise.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, just through diet alone. And then you're still able to diet and be in a deficit of a pound average a week and still eat 300 grams of carbs
Hmm.
if you wanted to. So, and that's just assuming, let's say he's 200 pounds, just to make numbers simple. So then you got this sliding scale where you can bring up to maintenance saying, wow, hunger's creeping up. All right, I'm a little bit beat up from recovery aspects. Next 2 days, I'm going to hit 400 carbs, be at maintenance, and kind of recover.
Top up
get
your
the-
glycogen a little bit.
Yeah, and you're going to just get a little more food, 400 extra, 500 extra calories. You're going to be happy.
Yeah.
I have to
Dave,
definitely work with a lot of people on food selections too, because after a point, you just have to dig. If you're looking, I'm assuming just talking also not just lifestyle, but being able to manage like burning some fat when you want to. Sometimes you have to just dig down deep, and that's
Yeah.
where voluminous foods come into play and stuff like that, and calories get low.
Yeah.
Well, the fundamental.
Oh, I was gonna say you did those PSMF days on prep, like, which I love doing too, because like, man, like you feel a certain kind of way when you're doing PSMF days.
And then
Well,
when you have food again, yeah, how happy are you? Go ahead, Mike.
And then it's the same. Really the same thing as fasting too, as far as some of your body's physiological responses to it. So you can really sort of, if you hit a plateau in your diet and like doing, some protein sparing modified fast for 3 days or 5 days or something, can really sort of trigger some more fat oxidation that you weren't getting before.
Yeah.
And I think that was the underlying fundamentals of this question, and I think this discussion are really like your body needs fuel, right? And if you're average Joe doing average workouts, and your body has no problem oxidizing enough fat to fuel your body to do average things, right? Most of us, especially if you're on cycle, if you're taking anything more than TRT dose, you're asking your body to do super physiological things.
Yeah,
and
you literally need more carbs to do that.
And you're not going to be able to do super physiological things in both directions at once. Because if you think about something like a carnivore or a keto diet, you're actually asking your bodies to do something it's really not conditioned to do. And I know there's a lot of argument over that, about eating, the way our ancestors ate thousands of years ago or whatever.
Most of our
There's
ancestors
a lot of evolution that's happened since then. I don't want to get into that discussion, but you're either asking your body to do something super physiological in one direction by oxidizing fat for fuel, or you're going to ask your body to perform super physiologically by taking the extra hormones that you're feeding it and turning it into muscle tissue. And you can't do both at once. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many carnivore videos you've made. I don't care how many ribeyes you slapped on a butcher block so someone could watch you eat it. You're not going to be able to do both of those at the same time. And those guys look great on social media. They're totally freaking shredded. And that's a great way to get shredded, because you're eating in a caloric deficit almost all the time. And then when you are demanding extra fuel from your body, you're oxidizing any endogenous fat into the ketones that you need to fuel your body. So yeah, of course you're going to get lean, but you're never going to achieve performance. How many marathon runners do you know that are carnivore, right? Those guys eat carbs. They load carbs. That's what they do. They
eat all kinds of food.
Glucose packets when they're on a marathon run, so they can suck glucose in to continue to fuel their body for performance. So I think, for our cohort, like we're talking about bodybuilding, you don't, low carb lifestyle is not even part of the deal.
Yeah, people want to talk about the ancestral way of being and how we were evolved to eat, which is great, but we are beyond what we could do in ancestral times. Like, people were not getting really, really jacked and really, really shredded at the same time.
Yeah, cavemen were not jacked. I don't know why people have that idea.
It's
They're
not
very
sustainable
not
for
jacked
the,
at all.
yeah, it's not sustainable for the human body to walk around and operate with a large amount of muscle mass and a low amount of body fat. That is highly confusing and dysregulating to the body. You can't do that without some help.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rant's
Josh
over
is
on that one.
disappointed that he hasn't learned to thrive on pizza and ice cream. You got to keep evolving there, Josh.
It's got to be chicken on the ice cream and fat-free cheese, and it's got to be one of them low-calorie ice creams.
Yeah, and a couple
We
of
got one other. Yeah. We got one other question came in. This one from a name I'm not going to try. Something Zai. Can you share some negative EQ mental experiences?
I know bad blow.
Watch any of the videos I made on my last progress phase, and you'll see EQ at work on your cognitive function for sure.
Yeah, Mike had like is it plethora? The plethora.
That's why I was in the chat being like, Mike, your blood pressure is terrible, dog. What's going on? Hang on, bro.
Yeah, I actually had people chime in my chat and go, dude, I'm a fan. I love all your stuff. I watch everything you do, but you're always talking about cognitive function, and you sound like hell right now. I'm like, whoa. So
I mean, you look
Call
great,
is coming from inside the house.
yeah, I think that, some of that too was the NOR19s in that cycle. And I think that's the perfect storm of extreme cognitive decline. I won't say decline. I guess I should say, cognitive dysfunction is to have EQ and nandrolone on the same cycle, or any NOR19 for that example, and not just cognitive function, but EQ, wrecks your for me anyway, it totally wrecked my estradiol, which also does, it's not great for your cognitive function either, but it's also not great for your mood. So for me, when I'm walking around crushed E2, like I have no libido, I'm sort of disengaged from everybody. I'm not real social. I get real quiet. It's like the end of contest prep when you don't even really want to talk to anybody. You just want to do the work, and your wife starts feeling neglected and all that other good stuff. So that's my experience with EQ.
Well, even on paper, Mike, even on paper with just EQ alone and no 19 NORs, if we're depleting kind of estrogen over time and you're running low on estrogen, or let's just say crushed, there's the physical aspects of that, but now you have the mental diminishing parts of having estrogen not in play. So like even on paper, just having too high of an EQ exposure, estrogen runs low, you're not going to get the neuroprotection that you get from having estrogen floating around in the body as well. So it might be a slow bleed, but that's potentially, just even on paper, you could see that coming. But my experience is just like what you said. EQ works fine with me if I'm managing it in, I hate the word ratio with my testosterone, but like as long as I have the good combination of, X amount of testosterone and I'm not overburdening EQ, I can use it effectively. But once I mix in 19 NORs, I get a little bit of anxiety myself, claustrophobic like feeling, just sometimes you get thrown off a little bit that way. So, but not for everybody. When I was younger, that wasn't the case. But as I seem to get a little bit older, messing around with those two combinations is an issue. But you really won't know until you experience it yourself. And the only way to alleviate those symptoms is to pull back and to recover, whether that's the estrogen depletion or just in general, the exposure to EQ.
And on that note, remember that
it is a usable compound.
I was gonna say on that note that EQ has a super long-acting ester, right? So if you get into trouble, it's gonna be a long time for that.
That's the ones who definitely run cystatin Cs every 6 weeks with.
Yeah,
because the damage is progressive.
Yep.
Yeah, good point.
EQ and trend for sure. Probably nandrolone as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And anything when you're messing up your blood pressure.
I just did a pretty good video on this too, Mr. Unpronounceable Name. So go to my channel, Muscle Project channel, and it's about a 15-minute listen. I think it'll help you a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a really good video, Mike. It was a really good one. All right, we got one more. This one's from Billy Bob Boy. Cutting on higher versus lower total androgen loads with GH. Is it smarter to use more or less when not in a growth phase? More or less androgens or more or less growth?
I think it means both. Like you guys say, you should cut on a high dose or you should cut on a low dose.
Boy, there's plenty of really experienced, smart people who say both.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. What do you look like, and what do you need to keep your muscle?
Yeah, it's so goal. It sounds so goal dependent, right? Depending on where you are and what you're aiming for.
Yeah.
So,
like, if you need to burn more fat, well, then you should up your GH and keep your androgens where they are, and then bump them up as your training ability sucks.
Or like, let's say somebody really needs to put on more size in the off season. Maybe it makes more sense for them to use more in the off season. But if they don't, and they really need to keep that size and work on conditioning during prep or a diet, maybe it makes sense for them to use more during the diet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, when we look at what we're using androgens for in a cut, let's just say preparing for a show, there's two things. One is the cosmetic effect of what androgen we put into place, and then the other one is anti-catabolic. So we're not really growing much without a surplus of calories. So we have those two things we're looking at to preserve, which is the muscle we already have, and then maybe there's the argument of Masteron, Primo, or Winstrol, let's just say from an oral standpoint, that's going to give you the cosmetic look as you get closer. So I'm always I know I have boring answers sometimes, and they're not what everyone wants to hear, but it's always, for me, I try to get people on the lowest possible effective dose to accomplish those two things. And if I can get a little bit more pop with a different compound or just increasing a compound, like say I'm prepping Mike and we're covering those two bases. Cosmetically, the Masteron's doing what we need, and we're holding on to a lot of muscle tissue while dieting really hard, but we need a little bit more pop. Maybe with a little bit of extra Primo does the trick to give that little fullness or whatever it is we need. Anadrol towards the end or something like that. So The best thing is you don't want to get caught up. I can tell you I've done it. I did it last year. My worst look I've ever had on stage was last year. And I can tell you that other than stress and sleep, it was just pushing gear too high. Too many experimenting with peptides, putting things into place where we also talk about signaling. Like Tanya and all, I mentioned this before on some way in the past on a few podcasts, is a lot of these peptides and androgens, a big factor is what are they signaling? You know, just like, do we want to use MOTS-c in the off season? Well, that's signaling AMP production.
AMPK, yeah.
AMPK, that's also going to downregulate mTOR. So we don't want to confuse our signal calling to the body as well. So keep it simple is my answer to you. Growth hormone, same thing. We're trying to use the right amount to help with lipolysis and recovery. So you got those things you're trying to cover. And I would make that your goal. And then you can just say androgens are covered. I got the anti-catabolic effect going. I get the cosmetic look with whatever I'm using. And if anything, growth hormone can facilitate a little bit better rest and lipolysis. If you can check those 3 things off, you are winning big time with no side effects. Hopefully.
Yeah, just give the body the clearest possible, most direct signal for what your goal is.
Yeah.
And don't push up more than you need to for your progress, because everything is a runway. As soon as you start, it's ticking. You have a runway you're going to run out of. So don't get in a hurry to get there before you actually get the results from it, because you're going to run out of runway.
You know, to echo what David was saying too, what they were saying, it's if you're putting so many different peptides and compounds, now you have a multi-factored polypharmacy situation happening where, like, if something goes wrong, what is it? You know, what is it? What interaction is it? What do you need to pull? What do you need to add?
It's like throwing all of the seasonings into the recipe that you've never tried before all at once, and you ruin it.
And then
you have no idea what you hate.
Yeah, it tastes funny, and you're like, well, does it need more salt, more pepper, more? Who knows?
We'll never know.
So, what is it? A minimum effective dosage approach, like Dave was saying, is probably like your best bet for success.
Yeah, and then if I can add one last thing is also like inflammatories, like aspects too. Like the more we put in, the more inflammatory response we're going to get. Whether that's just pinning or that's just also a carrier oil that I'm more sensitive to than the next person. So less is easier to manage than too much. And like you say, if I get a super physiological amounts of even simple compounds, it's hard to know which lever to dial back on if you come across a problem. And you don't want to be playing guessing games 2 weeks out or on peak week. You know, that's not where we say, okay, up everything. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it.
Because we're so
That would be
obsessive,
terrible advice.
we're so obsessive as bodybuilders, right? We always want to think that like more is better, and that's certainly not the case. And I know that empirical evidence and my own experience are pretty clear that, you know, if you're taking a disproportionate amount of anything, you're likely to give your body more systemic stress and undo what you're trying to do. Like being under stress is going to hurt your gains, right? And if I'm and I don't know, I forget, it was like a John Meadows thing or something, this cheat sheet. I put my first real cycles together using it, and based on my weight at the time, it gave me, you know, ratio of what I should be taking as far as a total load goes. Not specific to compounds, but you know, and I broke that out recently and realized that I should be doing about 1.5 milligrams probably, and I got up as high as 3 over the last year in these contest preps and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Now, granted, I did add some tissue in actually in prep, which is not an easy thing to do, and that's measured with a scan. So, no.
Very good.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is more isn't always better, right?
Yeah.
Take a look at your body. Your body weight is going to, and of course, assuming that you're doing all the other things right, you have intelligent cycle design, that you're already lean, you're not a fat ass. You know, you're not going to have a disproportionate amount of aromatization as a result of not being lean or any of those other things. I mean, assuming everything else is in order, like, you know, more isn't always better. And if you find something where you're growing and you're not putting your body through the systemic stress of being on high doses And I realized this for myself after doing these high doses. I went back 2 years when I first started working with Paul and looking at my check-in pictures. I was doing 1,200 milligrams, and I looked fuller, harder, and healthier than I did at the end of the prep for Masters Nationals.
Yeah.
So, more is not better. That was a long way of saying more is not always better.
Yeah, more is more.
Minimum
always-
effective dosage is a thing, and it's a real
Yeah.
thing.
We
Absolutely.
we always have to remember that we can't maximize everything past its natural limit all at once. And that's all that these things are doing, is each one of them are there as a tool to push a thing, an aspect of our physiology, past what its natural governor would be.
Mhm.
So whatever you're doing at that time, if it's growing, if it's cutting, if it's whatever, pick the biggest influencers for that can push you the farthest to enhance that thing that you're doing that it needs, and just push that and lean into that. Because if you try to push into everything all at once, like you said, the stress and the inflammation, and it becomes a mess, and you're not getting as much out of those two big important things that you're trying to really focus on as you would if you were just focusing on those things.
Absolutely. And if I promise one last mention too is that sometimes dose adjustment. So when you say high gear versus low gear, basically on a cut, sometimes the adjustment that needs to be made to prolong progress is usually actually not a dosage adjustment. It's probably something else that's falling off, because cutting or prepping for a show fat loss is a very costly process too to the body. So like Tanya could probably tell you right now, one of the more valuable tools she have is probably her sleep management.
Yeah.
Well, in recovery management, where she's at in prep, being 5 weeks under. How far are you out, Tanya?
I'm under 4 weeks. I was 4 weeks yesterday.
Yeah, so I can guarantee that.
And my sleep is still just fine. Like, as long as because I do so much to manage it. So I've always done that. So I just continue to do that. It's been fine. It's been spotty here or there, but I've had a lot of really good nights of sleep. My digestion is fine. Yes, it's slower. Everything is fine, because as far as I'm concerned, I've been in prep for years. This is just how I behave.
Yeah. And those are, I can guarantee those are the things that she's looking to preserve or make adjustments to, or add more sleep rather than add more milligrams at this point.
Add to that point, everyone is always really surprised at how little I use and how infrequently I'm on cycle. Yeah. Because I take care of all that other stuff. So I don't need a lot to get a lot of progress.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
I'm not depending on it as a Band-Aid.
Yep.
411 Columbus. Josh has got
Columbus, Georgia.
Columbus, Georgia.
I told you, I'm going to Columbus. They're like, maybe you meet a nice girl. It's Columbus, Ohio.
The lesser known Columbus, Atlanta Junior.
Don't be associated with Atlanta. That place sucks.
We are unfortunately very associated with Atlanta.
Oh, it's terrible.
If I fly anywhere, I have to go to Atlanta.
There was a question about the shortage in there, Amy. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Shortage on tests. Oh, that's right.
Well, he's just asking if shortages are ever going to stop.
Yeah, Think Big Bodybuilding has a show up, and they're asking for like viewer experiences with the shortage. I think they did it yesterday.
Yeah, it's like a 20-minute episode. He did it with Dave. I just watched it before this.
Because they have one.
So it does not seem that the shortages are going to stop anytime soon, based on
and the
that
shortages
podcast.
are just changing, because it sounds like they only have a limited amount of raws left to even produce, because apparently they can't produce raws right now in China. So they've just got what they've got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Test your gear is the moral of that story, even if you think it's from a trusted source.
And they made an interesting point in the Chinese sources also like service TRT companies. So like, what are TRT companies going to do? So, I mean, that kind of gives me some hope, because there's actual legitimate like demand for it to be rectified, maybe. So maybe more attention will be given to it.
Well, there was a time that, this stuff wasn't so available anyway, right? And you either knew somebody who knew how to import something from China and make it in their bathtub, or you somehow got your hands on some stuff from another country where it's not illegal,
or you knew somebody with a prescription.
And we didn't have websites on 5-6 websites giving us the top 1,000 gray market or black market suppliers on the internet. at any given time. And so, you just have to work a little harder. We've been spoiled up until now. It's time to, get gritty and figure out how to get what you need. And it is, all these things are still legal in most of Europe and Eastern Europe for sure. Mexico, there's very few countries in the world. It's only the Western countries, like the EU countries, the Americas, US and Canada, where this stuff is even illegal or controlled. So
I'm okay with things. I'm okay with things being whittled down to the most resourceful people.
yeah.
Well, we'll see. Maybe we won't end up back in the days of like where you would like order something, wait 6 weeks, and this strange Russian doll would appear in a package in your house, and you have to like unpack the doll and open it up, and inside the doll there might be something.
I never
And
got
it
a
was like-
doll. I got FOMO. Like what's up with the doll?
Oh, it was like
Cocaine
like
on
these.
I'll have what you're
terrible-
having.
Web, right?
Yeah,
Street-
they're like
street shipping, those we
terrible,
call it.
mass-produced, East German, back when there was an East German, I guess, or Russian or Yugoslavian dolls,
Right. Gotcha.
and they would be like, filled with, and
And a
you
doll.
would hope that it was what you ordered,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah.
So,
Taking
Well,
it
and you also
anyway,
didn't
aren't
have
you?
the ability to test back then either. So we're
yeah,
very
it was
fortunate
like
that we have those abilities to test.
you're
Back
trusting.
in my day, it was hard to get testosterone. Well, now it's back in your day again. It's hard to get
I mean,
testosterone.
you're literally trusting, Zagreb, the mad wizard of Yugoslavia, to send you something.
We might just have to walk uphill both ways.
Yeah.
You're gonna know it's
No.
bad when Dave starts harvesting cows and I'm just grinding bull balls for testosterone.
There you go. Be hitting you up for the hey, come to Colorado. We do Rocky
You
Mountain
better
oysters
original
there.
stuff. Oh yeah, the Rocky
Easy to
Oysters.
find here. Mhm.
Well, if
Well,
you're
how does
harvesting
it
cows, if you're harvesting cows, you can get some Finiplex pellets too. So we're good.
That's
Listen,
well said.
There we
Yeah,
go.
There you go.
pellet
All
a
right,
day.
guys.
We're good
I
done.
think that's it.
Sounds
All
good.
right,
All
guys.
right.
Anything else?
Fun one.
See, this was a good one. We'll see
That
everybody
was
next
fun.
week.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye,
Good,
guys.
everyone. See ya.